If you're buying a home in the Prescott area, there's a good chance your agent will recommend more than just a general home inspection. And if they don't, they should. And when you see those extra costs start adding up, it really can be tempting to skip some of them. Hey everyone, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Jessica.
And today we're going to tell you exactly why skipping inspections can be a very expensive mistake. We're also going to tell you what to do with all that inspection information once you have it.
Before we jump in, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or relocating to the Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, or Dewey Humboldt area, we would love to be your local resources. People reach out to us after watching our videos, and honestly, that's exactly why we make them. If you have questions about the buying process, the local market, or just want to talk through your options, our contact information is in the description. Call, text, or email anytime. Okay, let's talk inspections.
One of the biggest misconceptions we hear from buyers is the idea that a general home inspection covers everything. It really doesn't, and understanding that distinction can save you a lot of money and a lot of stress. A good home inspector is walking through hundreds of components: the roof, the electrical, HVAC, plumbing, appliances, structure, attic, insulation, windows, doors, and much more. They're giving you a thorough overall picture of the home's condition, but they're not specialists in every trade. And they're not opening walls or scoping sewer lines or disassembling major systems. That's where specialty inspections come in.
Let's talk about inspections that we think should absolutely be done. And we'll start with one that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and that's the sewer or plumbing inspection. For a small upfront investment, a camera scope of the sewer line can reveal things like tree roots, cracked pipes, bellies in the line, or corrosion. Repairs on issues like that can range from a few $100s to thousands of dollars, especially if a line has to be replaced. Knowing these issues before you close escrow is a very different situation than discovering it after moving day.
The roof is another one. A general inspector can flag visible issues, but if the roof has some age on it, shows evidence of prior repairs, or you just want a clearer sense of its remaining lifespan, a licensed roofer can give you a much more specific evaluation. Same goes for the HVAC. The system might be running fine the day of the inspection, but an HVAC technician can evaluate efficiency, refrigerant levels, maintenance history, and whether major components are getting close to the end of their life. That information is worth having before you sign on the dotted line.
And if the home has a wood-burning fireplace, add a chimney inspection to that list. Chimneys can look completely fine from the outside and still have internal damage that only shows up with specialized equipment. The same goes for pools. Condition of the equipment, leaks, safety concerns, and potential repairs costs aren't always obvious during a showing.
Now, if you're buying a rural property anywhere around Prescott, we want to spend a little extra time here because the stakes are usually higher and the inspection list looks a little different. A lot of homes in our area, especially once you get out towards Chino Valley, Dewey Humboldt, or more rural pockets around Prescott itself, are on private wells and septic systems instead of city utilities. And if you've spent most of your life in a city or suburb, you may have never dealt with either one. So let's walk through what you actually need to know.
As far as wells go, a well inspection is not optional in our opinion. What you're looking for is water production, meaning does this well actually produce enough water to meet the household's needs consistently, not just on a good day. You also want the equipment evaluated: the pump, the pressure tank, electrical components, and the condition of the wellhead itself. Depending on the property and your concerns, a water quality test may also be worth adding. Some buyers do a basic potability test. Others go further and test for specific contaminants depending on the area and land use history nearby. Here's the thing about wells: most of the time they're fine, but when they're not fine, repairs and replacements are significant. A new well can run anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000 or more depending on depth and conditions. Knowing the health of that well before you close is a must.
Let's talk about a septic inspection because it's equally important. In Arizona, the seller is required to have the septic pumped and certified prior to the sale of the home. This septic inspection confirms the system is functioning, involves pumping the tank, inspecting the components, and sometimes a dye test or camera inspection of the drain field. What you're trying to rule out is a system that's failing, is undersized for the home, or has a drain field that's compromised. Septic repairs can range from a few $100s for minor fixes to full system replacements that can cost $20,000 or more. Any repairs can be negotiated with the seller, so keep that in mind.
Rural properties sometimes bring additional concerns that don't come up in a typical neighborhood purchase. Is there an easement for access? Is the driveway or the road shared? And if so, is there a maintenance agreement? If the property has outbuildings, those should be evaluated too. We're not trying to make rural properties sound scary. We love them, and so do a lot of our buyers. We just want you to go in with your eyes open.
Okay, so you've done the general inspection and maybe a few specialty inspections on top of it. Now you're sitting in front of a report that might be 60, 80, sometimes over 100 pages long, and it feels completely overwhelming. Here's how we walk our clients through it. First, don't panic. Inspection reports are designed to be comprehensive, and that means they're going to list a lot of things. Some of those things are major, most of them are not. Your inspector's job is to document what they find, not to filter it by severity. So before you spiral, take a breath and keep reading.
Second, look for how items are categorized. Most inspection reports use some version of a tiered system. You'll typically see items labeled as safety concerns, defects requiring immediate attention, items to be monitored, and maintenance recommendations. Those categories really matter. A loose outlet cover is not the same category as an improperly wired electrical panel. A sticky door is not the same as active foundation movement. Read the categories, not just the list.
Third, pay attention to the summary section. Most inspection reports include a summary at the back or the front that pulls out the most significant findings. That's a great place to start before reading the full report. It gives you the broad view before you get into the details. Here's what not to do. Don't just review the summary section and decide that's all you need to read. Read the entire report. If you don't, you'll miss something. We guarantee it.
Fourth, identify what's a safety issue versus what's deferred maintenance. Safety issues like carbon monoxide concerns, electrical hazards, structural problems, active water intrusion need serious attention, often before you close escrow. Deferred maintenance items are things the previous owner should have been keeping up with but didn't. Peeling paint, worn caulking, minor wood rot, an aging water heater, those are real and they factor into negotiations, but they're not usually deal breakers on their own.
Fifth, flag anything that needs a specialist. If the general inspection mentions concerns about the roof, the plumbing, the HVAC, or the electrical system, that's your signal to bring in a licensed specialist before your inspection period ends. The general inspector is telling you there's something worth a closer look. Your job is to get that closer look while you still have the time and leverage to act on it. And don't wait to call these specialty inspectors, especially if you have a short inspection timeline. We can tell you from 30 years of experience, we've had buyers take a few days to read the general home inspection and not make it a priority. And before they know it, their inspection period is up and they've missed out on getting specialty inspections. Don't let that be you. This is also where having your agent in the conversation matters. We've read a lot of these reports and we can help you figure out what's worth pushing on and what's just noise.
Here's something a lot of buyers don't fully appreciate until they've been through it. Your inspection isn't just about knowing what you're buying. It's also one of the most powerful negotiating tools you have in the entire transaction. Once the inspection period reveals issues, you generally have a few options for how to handle them. You can ask the seller to make repairs before closing. You can ask for a price reduction to account for the cost of repairs you'll handle yourself. Or you can ask for a credit at closing, meaning the seller contributes funds towards your closing costs or repair costs rather than doing the work themselves. In some cases, you can combine these approaches.
Not everything on an inspection report is negotiable, and not everything should be. Sellers are generally not going to repair minor cosmetic issues or items that were clearly visible when you made your offer. What does tend to carry weight in a negotiation are safety items, significant defects, and issues the seller may not have been aware of. If the sewer scope reveals root intrusion that's going to require major work, that's a legitimate conversation. If the scope reveals that T-junctions instead of Y-junctions are in the home's plumbing and you want Y-junctions, that's not something you ask the seller for. That's probably how the home was built, and asking for that would be considered an upgrade, not a necessary repair. If the roof inspection shows it has maybe 2 or 3 years of life left, That's a legitimate conversation. If the HVAC technician flags the compressor is on its last leg, that is absolutely a legitimate conversation.
We sometimes prefer to ask for a credit rather than repairs, and here's why. When a seller makes repairs, you may not get to control the quality of the work. They may use the cheapest contractor available or do the minimum to satisfy the request. If you take a credit and handle the repair yourself, after closing, you control the process. You choose a contractor, and you can often time it in a way that best works for you. That said, there are situations where you want the repair done before you close, especially for safety issues or things that affect your ability to get financing.
Your negotiating position is always stronger when your requests are supported by documented findings from a licensed professional. The inspector said the roof is old is much weaker than we have a written report from a licensed roofer stating the roof has an estimated 2 to 3 years of remaining useful life and recommends replacement at an estimated cost of $15,000. That's the kind of documentation that moves negotiations. It removes the emotion and replaces it with facts. And here's one more thing worth saying. The goal of inspection negotiations isn't to nickel and dime the seller into the ground. The goal is to make sure you're paying a fair price for the home in its actual condition, not the condition you assumed it was in. That's a reasonable thing to ask for, and most sellers understand that.
We want to share a quick story because we think it illustrates the point better than any list could. Not too long ago, one of our clients made an offer on a condo. While the inspector was at the property, the renter mentioned that she had weekly issues with the toilet backing up. Since the seller did not disclose the issue in the seller's property disclosure statement, we recommend the buyer have the sewer line scoped. The line was scoped, and it revealed that the line going from the house to the main line in the street had separated at the main line. So the sewer had nowhere to go except for back into the condo.
Buying a home is probably the largest purchase most people will ever make. Spending a few $100s on specialty inspections feels like a lot in the moment, but skipping them and discovering problems after moving into your home, that's where buyers end up spending real money and dealing with real stress that could have been avoided. Inspections give you knowledge, and knowledge gives you options, and options are exactly what you want when you're making a decision this big.
If you're getting ready to buy anywhere in the Prescott area and you want someone to walk you through every step of the process, we'd love to help. Our contact information is in the description below.
As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.